Let's rev it up! Because I am sure hungry for one. Help! Help!
What's up, guys? It's Dirty Yugi from Dirty Yugi and the Boys, and we're back with another profile from Andy. Andy, what do you have for us today?
So this is Cyber Dragons. This is another one of my favorite nostalgia decks from the GX era. This has gone through several different iterations. It used to be the machine dupe version. I'm not a fan of the machine dupe version just because of how many bricks that adds to the deck, with original Cyber Dragon just being not ideal anymore. This is also not the trap version. I tried that one as well. It sees core more consistently than any other version of the deck, which is great, but it doesn't have a punish game. So this is where I tried to find this happy medium between punish game and consistency.
Okay.
So this version plays, of course, the 3 copies of core. This is your best starter of the deck. It searches any of the Cyber Speller traps. It also has an effect to banish itself from the grave to summon a Cyber Dragon from the deck. So it's very versatile. You need to see this in over your hand as quickly as possible, and the deck just wouldn't function without it. Next up is the 3 copies of Hertz. This is the other... I don't want to call it the other best card of the deck. I want to call it the other... Replace itself with another +1 card of the deck. Even if the only one that it searches from the deck is the original Cyber Dragon, it still helps to mitigate costs for cards like Galaxy Soldier, so you can still establish the Nova boards. It helps to have 1 card or essentially 2 card setups with Overflow, so if you're forced to go first, this is still a going second deck, by the way, to still have a 2 disruption board with Overflow banishing the Hertz from grave and the Cyber Dragon that's now back in your hand because of the Hertz search. So it's the other make my board have something to do, essentially. 2 copies of Nexter. So this card is better in builds that play more original Cyber Dragon. In a build like this, the best this thing can really do turn 1 is just revive regular Cyber Dragon, which is essentially it's just Seeker Pass, which doesn't do anything. So you need to at least have 1 in the deck at almost all times, so you can just summon it from the deck with core for a better resource grind. And drawing 1 is okay, because there's no other extender if you need it, but generally speaking, it's not enough to punish your opponent for committing to the board. So 2 is the happy medium I've found. I don't know why it works, it just does. Which then transitions into the other Cyber Dragons, just 1 original and 1 Veer. Regular Cyber Dragon's easily the worst one because of its own summoning requirements, requiring you to have no monsters and your opponent to have 1. So when your main way of searching it is Hertz, and Hertz, generally speaking, would have to be on the board, or one of the Contact Fusions, or the Almirage, something's on the board preventing regular Cyber Dragon from being summoned. So you have to play it because your deck requires you to, but you can keep recurring the 1 over and over if you need to. Veer is essentially just another extender of a different name, and also a different level for Overflow, that also helps make the Seeker boards a bit easier. It's sendable by the Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon. It's just a weird utility card where 1 has just been fine, because you can just toolbox it whenever you need it. And that rounds out the Cyber Dragon monsters. It's only about 10, but I wanted to play more cards that actually impact the board more. So I actually maxed out on 3 Galaxy Soldier. I know the Cyber Dragon community hates this card at 3 for whatever reason, because yes, it's true that you just go through the play once and then you just get all the soldiers out of the way. You don't brick on multiples or something, but I'm not banking on resolving core to search Repair Plant to get to this card. I want to be able to toolbox my core search to get things that are not Repair Plant, so I can just see my starters more, because this is the one that still establishes the Nova board. I just want to see my power cards, and this essentially establishes boards that create power cards. So that's really the best way I can explain it. The next up is a personal preference of mine, is to play 3 Phantasma in the deck. So Cyber Dragon has an issue with draw power, because it can't consistently play Desires because of the 1 regular Cyber Dragon, or even if it was the Machine Dupe build, it can't play that either, because then you banish all your Machine Dupe targets. You can't really play Extravagance because your extra deck is super tight. So this is the medium, because every single deck has to link summon. Even Synchro decks have to make Needle Fiber, Fusion decks have to make Cross Sheep, Xyz decks like Zodiac still have to make the Infinitrack link. This thing is never dead unless you're playing against a specific stun deck, in which case it's an easy side out for Twin Twisters. It's just a really powerful consistency card that digs for what you need. Next up is 3 Nibiru, because I don't want to play hand traps that don't do just simple 1-for-1 trades like an Effect Veiler or an Ash Blossom or something. You never win in a going second deck just making 1-for-1 trades the whole time. You have to have blowout cards that give you 2-for-1 trades in your favor. And Nibiru, also being a light for discarding for Galaxy Soldier if you just don't need it, just creates those 2-for-1 trades that you need. So, huge fan of this in the deck. It's really good. And then the 1 Pankratops because it's limited now for some reason. And it's literally just a bigger Cyber Dragon. It's got 500 more attack, which is huge, actually. It can be established on a partially established board, which regular Cyber Dragon can't, and the relevant quick effect thing. It's just it's better regular Cyber Dragon. And then the only other monsters I play are a small Kaiju package, actually, with 2 Jizukuru, a Gameciel, and a Dogoron. I actually play Kaiju Slumber in my deck. So the mentality behind this is that you want to Kaiju Slumber with this deck to give your opponent the machine and give yourself a level 8. Because when you contact fuse away a machine, you can make Fortress Dragon. And Fortress Dragon and the level 8 Kaijus is 2 level 8s that use to make Dingirsu, which gives you some nice non-targeting removal with the deck, and it's also a 2100 defense machine to revive with next during the grind. So it essentially also gives you some nice non-targeting removal in a deck that's very normal summon reliant with core. So you can just remove like important negates off the board. The only thing with this package that might need some tweaking is maybe the Dogoron should be the Wind Kaiju, because that's 2700 and outs the Wind Barrier statue. So like being 2700, you could out it with Cyber Twin Dragon, but since I'm trying to give myself the level 8, not my opponent, having the better numbers matters more some of the time, so pick and choose, I guess. It's really not that big an issue, actually. Also, Nibiru tokens being lights along with a lot of your other stuff make them super poly targets. So, into the spells, the 3 Slumber that I mentioned earlier. Yes, this card can be ashed, but it was either this or something like Lightning Storm or Evenly Matched. Evenly Matched gives up your opportunity to OTK in a go second, go punish deck, and Lightning Storm just doesn't work well with Phantasme, so this is like the happy medium I could find for board wipes. Also, just searching Kaijus is really great in a resource grind when you're just contact fusing away their machines anyways. 3 Emergency. This is the Search Core card, which we need to see Core to play the game, so we have to play 3 of it. It also searches Hertz, but usually just searches Core. 3 Super Poly, because it gives us more blowout cards to draw into off of Phantasme. And I play a lot of Super Poly targets that seem a little unconventional, but because of the way the deck functions, it's a lot more concise. It also just says your opponent can't respond to it for some reason. 1 Repair Plant. This is kind of like up in the air. You have to play it because you have to search it off Core to get to Galaxy Soldier, but it's a searcher that requires setup, and there's not very many searchers in the game that require setup, so you get it when you need it, and that's really all I can say about it. 1 Rev System, it's like a searchable Monster Reborn for the deck. Yes, I know it's not once per turn, but it's only for very weird situations nowadays where you go normal Core, search Rev System back the Core after you use the Core to like contact fuse or link away for Almirage or something, and then you have Link 2 for Anaconda for the punish. It's there, but it's not the most relevant thing. 1 Cyberload and 1 Overload, these are like your Anaconda targets. I guess Super Poly is an Anaconda target as well, but generally speaking, it's a matter of, are you at the point in the grind where you've had like all your resources banished with your own overflow, so you have to Cyberload them back into the deck to recur them? Or do you just banish them out of the grave with the Overload fusion that you just send whenever you need it anyways?
I noticed that's not ulti. What's going on with that?
This deck isn't max rarity, calm down.
Oh, what the heck?
I mean, granted, I'm also not using Secret Phantasmes, so what are you talking about?
Alright, those are mine.
And then the 1 Foolish Burial, because it can either send Hertz, which gets you a nice little resource recursion, or gets you a starter by sending Core summon from deck, that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And then the last 2 cards are 2 Overflow, because this deck doesn't play out to Mystic Mine otherwise. So I didn't want to just play 1, have my opponent like go, oh, you stopped my Mystic Mine, haha, I have a second one. Or just have like the having to hard draw an out to Mystic Mine when you can search it, but you can also still hard draw it and still have it be relevant. It's non-targeting removal. It gets your stuff banished, so you can recycle them back with Cyber Load Fusion. It's just really, really strong for...
The fact that that's now an Ultra...
Yeah, this thing being an Ultra is so much better. Thank God.
Yes.
And yeah, that's the main deck, so it's 40. Going on into the extra deck, I'm only playing like 3 links right now. It's just the El Mirage, the Seeger, and the Anaconda. El Mirage being for like the turn 1 situations with Core, Search, Repair Plant, make Repair Plant live by putting Core in grave. Seeger being for the Seeger plus Rampage OTK or Seeger Nova OTK. Anaconda being like the heart and soul of what this deck has to get to now. Like, this deck is literally, can I put 2 bodies on the board and make Anaconda just blow my opponent out with Rampage? Like, if I could play 2 Anaconda because the extra space is so tight, I would play 2 in a heartbeat, but it really is just down to space issues right now. For the Exceeses, the only ones I'm playing right now are a single Nova, Infinity, and Dingirsu for the earlier mentioned Kaiju package thing. And also the recursion with Nexter. The Nova Infinity play, you only ever make it once because the only way this deck consistently makes this combo is using the Soldier package. So you make it once, it's fine, it's not really an issue, and you just keep recurring these back with Nexter as well. It does what it needs to do. And then for the other, like the contact fusions, this will be like the start of the fusions, which is what the most of the rest of the extra deck is. 2 Fortress Dragons, which you just contact fuse with your own Kaijus, which is like the main issue with the deck, is getting outs to your opponent's established boards. It'll be even more relevant to play multiples of this once Orcus gets Girsu in the next set, but for right now, we're playing enough copies because we know that we're going to need them in the grind. 1 Mega Fleet Dragon. I know this is like weird for the deck to say it's only playing 1 of it now, but with no one summoning the extra Monster Zone anymore, aside from like maybe the turn 1 Apollosa, which you just contact fuse away from the Mega Fleet, it's gone, and now they just don't summon an extra Monster Zone anymore. 1 has been just fine in testing for me. Then for the Cyber Dragon related fusions, I guess, that are not the contact fusions, 1 Rampage and 1 Cyber Twin. Rampage is the one you try to turbo out as quickly as you can with the Anaconda combo. The 3 attacks, the usual standard combo is like 9300 to 9500 damage roughly, so the Rampage 3 attacks thing matters a lot. Cyber Twin is just a roughly bigger Rampage Dragon. Sometimes it just outs like 2500 monsters, which for some reason this format has a bunch of. I can't even begin to name how many there are. Specifically like Eldritch, like in attack position is 25, and this just outs it, but this doesn't, so it comes up. It's also just like part of a 1-card setup where you recur back your regular Cyber Dragon if it's banished from Overflow. So Core, Search, Cyber Load Fusion, activate Cyber Load using the Core on field and the banished regular Cyber Dragon, make Cyber Twin, and you just break boards that way. And then the last 4 are Super Poly targets. Starving Venom and Mud Dragon need no introduction. They're always used for something. Shadal right now. Add Emancipator to some extent because they'll have boards of like an Earth Rock and an Earth Non-Rock, like Naturia Beast and Block Dragon or something. This has some weird interactions with the fact that... Oops, that's not... Where'd he go? The El Mirage is a Cyberse and a Link monster, so if you have the turn 1 board of like El Mirage set 2 pass because you Core searched out Overflow, you can have the Overflow Disruption and also Super Poly with your own El Mirage and an opponent's either Cyberse or Link monster, so just Super Polying away with their like Cross Sheep or something randomly comes up sometimes. It's just a very generic card that's easy to make.
It's really good against Saladin.
It's good against Salamangreat as well. Marine Cess is like a random rogue pick. But like, yeah.
Random stuff.
And then something that started off as a like meme pick, like this started off as just like I'll throw it in my extra deck as the 15th card. Then it became my most used Super Poly target in the extra deck. That's not even a joke. So your entire deck is machines to begin with. So just ending on Core plus like a couple back row pass if you're forced to go first is a thing. Randomly, you can just Super Poly your own Core away with your opponent's Borrelsword Dragon and they don't see it coming, I guess. Also, it just really punishes the Emancipator boards because a lot of the 1 card, I can't really call it an FTK, but there's like the lock combo with Jet Synchron that tries to summon Hot Red Dragon Archfiend King Calamity on the opponent's turn to lock them out of cards for that turn. So if you've found if you've like Phantasme dug for Super Poly, and now you've found Super Poly, you can just Super Poly the Needle Fiber and the Savage Dragon away, because Needle Fiber is a machine, Savage Dragon's a dragon, to make Panzer Dragon before they can just lock you out of the game. So it comes up way more than it ever should, and yeah, that's why it makes the slot in the last slot of the extra deck.
Any last minute thoughts about the deck?
Needs more testing. The format keeps shifting. There's not really events going on for me to say, oh, this is right, this is wrong, absolutely set in stone, but I think it's about where I want it to be for now.
All right. This is Jordan from Dirty Yugioh and the Boys, signing off. Have a good day.